Over the last 24 hours, the Iran conflict widened across the region. Israel reports a new wave of strikes in Tehran. Reuters reports drone strikes on U.S. diplomatic facilities in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. And there are fresh indications of disruption around the Strait of Hormuz. In Ukraine, Kyiv reports gains in Zaporizhia, while Russia reports a major Ukrainian drone attack on the Novorossiysk port area. This is the daily military situation brief for the 3rd of March 2026. Focus Ukraine and Iran and the wider region. Stand 16:01 Zurich time. All information is from open sources. I separate facts, claims, and analysis. Each item carries an uncertainty label. Top headlines, Max 5. Headline 1. Iran, Israel. Israel says it has begun a new wave of strikes in Tehran. Likely. Headline 2. Gulf. Reuters reports drone strikes on U.S. diplomatic facilities in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, followed by U.S. embassy closures in both countries. Likely. Headline 3. Iran leadership. Reuters reports that Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei was killed on the first day of the campaign. This is not independently confirmed in the open source record used here. Unclear. Headline 4. Ukraine South. Ukraine reports gains in the Zaporizhia region and says several settlements were retaken since late January. Independent mapping confirmation is incomplete. Headline 5. Black Sea, Russia. Russia reports a major Ukrainian drone attack on the Novorossiysk port area, including a fuel terminal fire and injuries. Likely. Ukraine. Regional north border areas, Kharkiv sector Sumy item. Ukraine says it has strengthened control around the Kupiansk area. Source, per EV Idinance, reported remarks attributed to Ukraine's commander-in-chief via Reuters-style reporting. No independent visual confirmation cited in the same reporting. Label, unclear. Why it matters? Kupiansk remains a key corridor for logistics and defensive posture in the northeast. What to watch next? Independent map updates and corroborating imagery consistent with changes in control. East Donbass Axis item. President Zelensky says Russia will struggle to meet planned advances, pointing to Russian objectives in eastern and southern Ukraine. Source, per EV Idance, Reuters-style political statement reporting. This is an assessment, not a verified change in the line. Label, unclear. Why it matters. Public assessments can signal expectations ahead of diplomacy and resource decisions. What to watch next? Whether the next 24 to 72 hours show measurable changes on the main Donbass axis. South, Zaporizhia, Kherson, Black Sea area. Item. Ukraine reports a counteroffensive in southeast Zaporizhia and says 9 settlements were retaken since late January. A Ukrainian mapping project is cited as showing limited Russian gains in February. Source, per EV Idinance, Reuters-style reporting combining Ukrainian official claims and a known mapping outlet. Independent verification remains limited in the same reporting. Label, unclear. Why it matters. If confirmed, this would be a notable period of net Ukrainian gains, with implications for morale and operational flexibility. What to watch next? Convergence across multiple mapping efforts, plus consistent visual evidence over several days. Item. Russia reports a large overnight Ukrainian drone attack on Novorossiysk, with a fuel terminal fire, injuries, and emergency measures. Source, per EV Ididance, Reuters-style reporting based on Russian regional officials. Label, likely. Why it matters. Novorossiysk is strategically important for Black Sea logistics and energy-linked infrastructure. Disruption can affect supply chains and tempo. What to watch next? Follow-on reporting on duration of disruption and independent indicators from port and shipping activity. Air and drone picture, no operationally actionable detail item. Ukraine reports a large overnight drone attack and claims a high interception or disruption rate, while also reporting some impacts and injuries. Source, per EV Evidence, Ukrainian Air Force claims as carried by media reporting. Label, likely for the occurrence of a large attack. Unclear for exact interception figures. Why it matters. Sustained high-volume attacks create an attritional contest in air defense capacity and infrastructure resilience. What to watch next? Whether damage reporting consolidates into a consistent picture, especially regarding energy and transport. Logistics industry, per mobilization only when solid. Item. Reporting discusses claims that restrictions on Russian Starlink use may be affecting Russian communications at the front. Source, per EV Evident, Reuters-style reporting referencing Ukrainian statements. Direct causal verification is difficult in open sources. Label. Unclear. Why it matters. If true at scale, communications degradation can reduce coordination and response speed. What to watch next? Multiple independent frontline accounts over several days, and any technical or policy clarification on scope. Iran, I-region, domestic situation, and military-relevant developments. Item. Israel says it launched a new wave of strikes in Tehran after issuing warnings related to areas near state-linked facilities. Source per EV evidence. Reuters-style reporting based on Israeli military statements. Label. Likely. Why it matters. Continued strikes in and around the capital increase escalation risk and raise the chance of broader retaliation. What to watch next? Independent visual confirmation that is time and place consistent, and clearer indications of effects without operational detail. Item. Reuters reports that Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed on the first day of the campaign. Iran is also cited as reporting very high casualty figures overall. Source per EV items. Reuters reporting in a rapidly evolving environment. No second independent confirmation is used here. Why it matters. If confirmed, leadership loss at that level could reshape command dynamics, internal stability, and escalation logic. What to watch next? Multiple independent confirmations, plus consistent succession signals, and public-facing validation. Israel and immediate neighborhood item. Israel's UN envoy states that Israel and the United States intend to ensure Iran does not achieve nuclear capability. Source, per EV items, Reuters-style reporting of UN remarks. Label, confirmed as a public statement. Unclear regarding contested claims about damage or effects. Why it matters. Declared objectives shape likely duration and intensity of operations. What to watch next. Any official clarification on scope and end state, and whether diplomacy accelerates or stalls. Iraq-Syria militias, U.S. coalition relevance. Item. In the open source reporting reviewed for this brief, Iraq and Syria are not the primary focus in the last 24 hours compared to Iran, the Gulf, and Lebanon. Source, per EV idents. News emphasis patterns in the same reporting stream. Label, unclear. This is a data gap, not a signal that nothing is happening. Why it matters. Iraq and Syria remain plausible theaters for proxy dynamics and spillover. What to watch next? Verified reports involving bases, supply routes, or militia activity with credible sourcing. Gulf states, Strait of Hormuz, Maritime, drones, deterrence item. Reuters reports drone strikes on U.S. facilities in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, followed by U.S. embassy closures and partial personnel drawdowns in several countries. Source, per EV evidence, Reuters reporting. Label, likely. Why it matters. This shifts the regional security posture and raises risk of further incidents involving U.S. presence and partners. What to watch next? Additional protective measures, widened closures, or confirmed follow-on attacks. Item. Reuters reports interference with shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. It also reports that Qatar halted LNG production and that tankers were waiting in the Gulf. Source, per EV items. Reuters reporting. Label, likely for disruption being significant. Unclear on exact scale and duration in real time. Why it matters. Hormuz disruption quickly translates into strategic pressure via energy flows, insurance, and routing decisions. What to watch next. Corroboration via maritime security notices, shipping indicators, and statements from energy operators. Item. Iran's Revolutionary Guards claim a drone strike hit a fuel tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, causing a fire. Source, per EV items. Single-party claim carried in Reuters. Label, unclear. Why it matters. A confirmed tanker strike would be a major escalation marker, with immediate commercial and military consequences. What to watch next. Independent maritime incident reporting and corroborating indicators consistent with the claim. Yemen Red Sea shipping missiles attacks and defenses item. Shipping disruption and rerouting remains a visible trend, with major carriers cited as avoiding the Suez-Bab al-Mandab corridor amid escalation risk. Source, per EV evidence. Reuters reporting on carrier decisions. Label, likely for rerouting decisions. Unclear for any specific new Red Sea attack incident in the last 24 hours within this source set. Why it matters? Rerouting absorbs capacity, increases costs, and can affect naval readiness and allocation. What to watch next? Confirmed incident reporting in the Red Sea, and whether reroutings become broader or longer term. Lebanon border situation item. Reuters reports Hezbollah fire into Israel, Israeli airstrikes in response, and reinforced ground security in the south. Reuters also reports major explosions and high fatalities in Beirut. Source, per evidence. Reuters reporting real-time casualty numbers may remain fluid. Label, likely for the exchange of fire and strikes, unclear for precise casualty totals in the immediate time frame. Why it matters? This expands the conflict space and raises the risk of a sustained second front dynamic. What to watch next? Whether exchanges remain limited or shift into a sustained pattern with wider geographic reach.